In this video right here, we're going to do the same, but we're going to talk about 3 reasons why Oleksandr Usyk beats Tyson Fury. Now, as I always say with these videos when I do them, I'm just given 3 reasons that jump out at me as to why I think this fighter beats this fighter and vice versa. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's the fighter I'm picking. So because I said that these are 3 reasons why why I think Tyson Fury beats Oleksandr Usyk, doesn't mean I'm picking him. And the same with Oleksandr Usyk. You'll have to wait for the full prediction video, which probably will go out Monday evening at some point. I'm looking forward to that one. That's going to be a good one. But we're roughly a week away from the fight, and it's all getting very real now. Some people were, and I know some people are still saying, even at this minute in time, that, gee, we just don't know. And, there have been occasions. I mean, Tyson Fury was on the receiving end of it by David Haye. I think that was only days before their fight. David Haye pulled out of that fight. And it can happen. At this point, though, I think we're safe. I think we're very safe with it. And to look at both guys and to look at their respective styles and to go back and watch some of their fights, some of Oleksandr Usyk's fights, some of Tyson Fury's more recent fights, because if you were to say to me, gee, if you look at Tyson Fury against John McDermott, look at how he looked there and how was he going to look against Usyk, that was over a decade ago. It's pretty irrelevant now. It's same with Klitschko, really. I mean, it's nearly a decade. It's pretty irrelevant now. So I've really only focused on the last couple of years for both respective guys and kind of had a good look at that. And there are 3 reasons why I think Oleksandr Usyk beats Tyson Fury. And the first one, the one that's immediately going to jump out at you, it's one that I think that Team Fury may very well be worried about, to be honest with you. And to be honest with you, if I was in Team Fury, I would be worried about this. And obviously that is the cut. As we all know, and you'll see, obviously there's no clips, so you'll just see images of it on screen there. As many of you will know, we were meant to have this fight in February. And Team Fury pulled out. They got it rescheduled till May due to a cut in sparring. Now, some people have dealt with the validity of that cut. We're not going to get into that. But Tyson Fury, has he cut before? Yes, he has, against Otto, which was a really bad cut. I mean, as you'll see, his face was covered in blood. I mean, that was a horrible cut. It was very deep, very bad cut he suffered against Otto. And I've always said that when that's what I've even said, you see it, when fighters get cut. It's one thing for a fighter to get a cut, but when it's a deep cut that requires some stitches, some surgery, that right there, you're getting scar tissue, I should say. And once that comes, it makes it a lot easier for cuts to reopen. All right, it absolutely does. And with Fury, the cuts that he suffered, the one against Otto, the one apparently he got in sparring, what's the thing? They both look deep. And with Otto, that was in September. He fought Wilder in February. So it was a fairly short-ish turnaround. This is even shorter. Now, in the Wilder rematch, he never really took any flush shots from Deontay Wilder. The cut would have been a worry, but he never took any flush shots to kind of worry anybody. Well, Oleksandr Usyk, who is more accurate, and Oleksandr Usyk, I think he's just a better fighter than Deontay Wilder. He's more versatile. He's just better in every way. He won't only be just targeting that cut or that eye. He'll be targeting everything else. So Fury's going to have to be thinking very much on his toes. And again, you look at the images and you see, especially in the Otto fight, how deep that cut was. And you look at people, as you'll see there on screen, Vitaly Klitschko. Now, his cut against Lennox Lewis, I should say cuts, because it wasn't just one cut. And you see his face after. He looked like he'd been, stamped on by guys. He was stopped with that cut. Now, it was a much worse cut than Tyson Fury, and it should have been stopped, quite rightly. There was no controversy about that stoppage whatsoever. George Foreman, at the time who was commentating on that fight, felt it should have been a lot earlier. They pulled Klitschko out. Klitschko years later against Kevin Johnson, the scar tissue was still there, And when Johnson was landing jabs on Klitschko, you could see his eye was still not looking 100%. That was what, 7, 8 years later? 2011, I think, is when he fought Johnson. So that's always going to be a worry for Tyson Fury. And going into this fight with Oleksandr Usyk, Team Usyk are going to be well advised. They're not going to make it the be all and end all. It's the same way I don't think Tyson Fury and their team are going to make it the be all and end all to focus on Usyk's body. But it's something that's there. It's a weakness that they can definitely exploit. You know, Team Fury will say, oh, Oleksandr Usyk is weak to the body, we're going to exploit that. Okay, fair enough. But we definitely know that there's scar tissue there above that eye, which could open at the drop of a hat. Few jabs, big left hand goes in, boom, there you go, it's opened. And that can change the flow of a fight. If it's caused by a punch, it could make Tyson Fury fight a lot more recklessly because he's going to be wary of the fact, oh crap, I have a cut. You know, the ringside doctor is taking a look, the referee is taking a look. I don't want to get stopped because of a cut. I could be ahead in this fight. He'll have to maybe take more chances. It could change the whole dynamic and the whole shape of the fight if a cut comes for either man, to be honest with you. So that's the first reason, the cut and the scar tissue, the residual damage from the cut. That's the first one for Oleksandr Usyk. The second one is Usyk's straight left hand. Now, Oleksandr Usyk's straight left hand is a brilliant punch. It's a brilliant punch. It's very fast. And the way he's able to slip a jab, come over the top and just land that left hand instantly on these big guys. He's actually able to establish landing that left hand, whether it be set up with a jab or whether it be straight, very early on in the fight. You know, in the Anthony Joshua fight, it was almost instant. He was able to find range with that left hand. And what you'll see there on screen, I've took two little snippets for you there on screen. The first one is, as you'll see here, he lands it to Anthony Joshua's body. Now, it's a very good shot because what he does is, a lot of the time with Oleksandr Usyk, when he's maybe at range or if the guy is bigger, if the guy is maybe hands up a little bit high, he'll just throw it straight to the body. He'll just throw that big left hand straight to the fighter's body and it's scoring. And with Tyson Fury, I always find that with Tyson Fury, especially if you're coming from the southpaw stance, even if, obviously people are looking at Tyson Fury and they're thinking, right, that head's what we want to get because he's been dropped a couple of times. Obviously he's the damaged eye, so they're looking to headhunt. But realistically, you should be actually looking to just do whatever, hit anything, set him off balance. So Oleksandr Usyk, as we know, he does throw that left hand to the body. I reckon he'll be doing that to Tyson Fury a lot, whether it be down there or up at the chest. Either way, it doesn't matter. He will look to land. He looks to land these scoring shots, whether it be to head or body, and he'll throw that left hand to Tyson Fury's body. As you'll see here in the Anthony Joshua fight, lovely left hand. Stunned Anthony Joshua there. No people act like, oh, you know, Joshua was fine. But look at the replays, right? Joshua didn't go down, but he felt that left hand. He absolutely did. Let's have a quick look at it again. I love the way he just sets it up. Just boom, there you go, straight down. And Joshua, he had his hand out like that, which Tyson Fury has a tendency to do as well. He had his I think it was his left hand out like that. Usyk came over, bam, left hand lands. Now, in terms of Oleksandr Usyk, people say, oh, he's not the biggest puncher in the world. He can't hurt these guys. Well, Steve Cunningham wasn't the biggest puncher at cruiserweight, nor was he a big puncher at heavyweight. He was able to drop Tyson Fury. He was able to, Oleksandr Usyk, rock and hurt Anthony Joshua several times in their fight. You know, he was even able in round 7 to get Chisora's legs to stiffen. And Chisora, who went, oh Lord, he's gone loads of rounds with Tyson Fury. What, 30 odd rounds with Tyson Fury? Twice he went 10 rounds and once 12. So what, 32 rounds? And never really been seriously hurt by Tyson Fury. His legs stiffened against Oleksandr Usyk. So Oleksandr Usyk has respectable power there. If he's landing those quick, fast, hard left hands on Tyson Fury, one, again, goes back to the eye. They're going to have to be worried about that because it was a left hand against Otto Wallin that started the problems there. And it could be the case again with Tyson Fury. And if you look on screen, you'll see a little clip from the first round of his fight with Otto Wallin. And straight away in the first round, Otto Wallin is already able to land that left hand. Bear in mind, people, that was 5 years ago. You know that was 5 years ago. It's nearly 5 years, September. But basically, as near as makes no difference, it's been 5 years. Otto Wallin is and I say Ottavellino is the closest thing to Oleksandr Usyk, or fighter to Oleksandr Usyk that Fury has fought. Ottavellino is Oleksandr Usyk if you got him off Wish, and that's being generous, really generous. The fact of the matter was, he was able to find that left hand early on against Tyson Fury, and I suspect that Oleksandr Usyk could be able to do the same. So the left hand specifically, that's a punch, especially if Fury is coming out in the orthodox stance. I'm not too sure if he'll look to go southpaw at all in this fight. Would that even be advised? But if he's in the orthodox stance, certainly the left hand from Oleksandr Usyk, that's going to be a big shot. That's going to be a very, very big shot. So, cuts, left hand. They're the first two. Number 3. Now, some might look at this and say, really? And it's a simple one, but it's one that people, I don't think they talk enough about, which is Oleksandr Usyk's gas tank. Unquestionably, he's going to have a better gas tank than Tyson Fury. In that fight against Francis Ngannou, and yes, 100%, anyone who says that Tyson Fury didn't train properly for Ngannou, I agree with you, 110%. He did look tired at points in that fight, and it was only a 10-rounder. It wasn't fought at a frantic pace. Now again, I understand the people who say, well, he didn't train properly, and yeah, I can see where you're coming from there, 100%. But nevertheless, I would always associate Tyson Fury, although he doesn't fight at the same pace as Oleksandr Usyk, as a fighter with a pretty good gas tank. And there have been times in fights where Tyson Fury, he's had to go to the well. He's had to, like against Deontay Wilder in the trilogy fight. You know, when he got dropped the second time, he had the look in his, if you go back and look at it, he had the look in his face of a man who knew he could get up and had to think about it. Maybe that was the first time in his career where he had to think, it's not even do I want it? Do I need to go to the well again? Now he did. He got up, he came through it, and he took Deontay Wilder out. But that was nearly 3 years ago. He hasn't been in that situation since then, in any fight. You could say against Francis Ngannou, but was he really ever in that kind of danger? Yeah, he was dropped, but it wasn't a heavy knockdown. He wasn't getting, his head peppered with, shots left, right, and centre. Yeah, he took some shots, but I think Fury won that fight. I've no issue with Fury getting the nod. Some people do. I don't have an issue with that. I thought he won it for me. But the last time he really came through proper adversity was against Wilder, and he had to go to the well, and he had to almost look. You could see it in his face. You had to almost look and say, "Do I have it in me again?" He did. 3 years later, does he? Now, Oleksandr Usyk is someone who, even when a fighter like Anthony Joshua in their rematch has a successful round like he did in round 9, Usyk just finds another gear. He finds another level to go to. He ups the tempo. And that round 10, really, that had to have been so soul-crushing for Anthony Joshua. To have a good round 9, to look good, and for Usyk to come out and just put it on him in round number 10, that had to hurt. I mean, it looked a painful round anyway for Joshua, but mentally, that must have hurt like hell. And when you see Usyk in fights, sometimes actually he can start. I don't want to say he starts. He's not a slow starter by no stretch, but he really comes into his own in the mid to late rounds, as you'll see on screen. I mean, this was the back end of the Anthony Joshua fight, and look at that. He's on the verge of stopping Anthony Joshua there. Joshua leaning up against the ropes, and Oleksandr Usyk is just opening up, letting the shots go left, right, and centre. And you look at the first Joshua fight, left hands landing, big shots landing, accurate punches, good defense, and work rate that Joshua, it was a combination of everything in that fight that Joshua just couldn't handle. But even then, in round number 12, Oleksandr Usyk still was able to go through those gears, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let the shots go, and Joshua just couldn't live with that. Now, against Tyson Fury certainly has a more, I want to say, proven gas tank than Anthony Joshua. Although Joshua has been the distance, Fury has been the distance a lot more. But at this point in his career, although he is the younger man by, a year and a half thereabouts. He's not 36 until apparently August. Oleksandr Usyk turned 37 in January. So he is the younger man, but one, he's the bigger man, and two, he's lived a much harder life than Oleksandr Usyk. Oleksandr Usyk is someone who, even when he's not boxing, he's still in shape. I know Oleksandr Usyk likes to play football. He likes football, so he's always doing something physical. Oleksandr Usyk's gas tank, there's no question there. Tyson Fury does like to take breaks in fights. So when he's in a fight, you'll often see sometimes he's just moving back, looking to keep his opponent at range, letting the air go back into his lungs. He's holding, he's goading his opponent to try and do something. All the while, Tyson Fury is just letting himself just get those, gulps of air back in. Oleksandr Usyk, I think in this fight, he is just going to work when Fury doesn't want to. And potentially as well, when Tyson Fury wants to actually do some work, when he wants to get moving, Oleksandr Usyk won't let him. I think that's potentially what's going to happen in here. And if it becomes a war of attrition, which I don't really envision it being, but if it does, I think Oleksandr Usyk will be the one to come out on top in that scenario. For me, anyway. So they're really the three reasons as to why. The cuts Tyson Fury sustained, certainly in the Oliver fight and from sparring. The left hand, the straight left hand, the head and the body for Oleksandr Usyk. And Oleksandr Usyk's stamina, his gas tank. There are three reasons as to why I think Oleksandr Usyk beats Tyson Fury. Let me know what reasons you would give in the comment section below. At the end of the day, as I've said several times, this isn't a prediction video. This is just, a video giving kind of little factors as to why I think Usyk wins. Same with Tyson Fury. Prediction video will probably come out Monday evening. Stay tuned for that. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say on this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. We are ever so close to this fight now, lads. I can't wait, to be honest with you. I genuinely can't wait. I think this fight is going to be brilliant. I think that this isn't the closing chapter in this story. There's more to come. And yeah, I'm all in. I'm all in. Let's have a good fight. Let me know your thoughts. I'll leave it there. Peace.